OSC for sign language interpretation and translation. We'll start with what's happening around us. We have received reports that the people of Karamoja are happy and they are excited about what is happening around them. They have received food relief. Last week, we were able to send over 50,000 tons of food relief in addition to what happened last week when we sent over 20,000 tons of food. Well, the team is in Karamoja and they are distributing food. They are serving food to different households. Each household is receiving 50 kilograms of food relief. It's a mixture of portions. It's a mixture of a meal that revives, revamps, and re-energizes someone. It has milk, it has sugar, it has oats, it has millet flour, rice flour, it has maize flour, and very many others that will help boost someone's body, especially one that has been down with hunger. There are people who have died before in Karamoja. We thank God for the Robert Kayanja Ministries that has distributed food to Karamoja, and right now people are free from hunger. Well, the need is still great. That is why we are calling upon you to join us once again as we deliver another batch of food to the people of Karamoja. Karamoja is situated in the northeastern region, the extreme northeastern region of Uganda, and going there is many hours. That is why we need a big team to go there and help in the distribution of food. They've done a great job so far, so join us once again as we deliver another batch of food. You can send your seed to the numbers that will be available during the services. Your life will not remain the same again. Remember, when you feed the hungry, you are feeding God. He said in his word that when you feed one of the little ones, you are feeding him. So join us as we attend to the Karamoja cry. God will tremendously bless you. Right now, allow me to take you straight into the international news. Kenya's electoral body has revealed that there was an attempt to attack its personnel who were preparing responses to presidential election petitions. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission said an organized group of goons wielding weapons was repulsed by security at the premise. 9 election petitions, including one by opposition leader Raila Odinga, were filed at the Supreme Court yesterday and will be determined within 14 days. The IEBC is a respondent in all the election petitions. The body is mandated to conduct general elections in the country, and its declaration of Deputy President William Ruto as President-elect after the 9th of August elections is being challenged in court. Moving on to neighboring Congo, the authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have declared a resurgence of Ebola following confirmation of a case in the eastern province of North Kivu. A woman died last week in the town of Beni. It is the second outbreak in the country this year. The previous epidemic was declared to have ended in July. The World Health Organization's Regional Director for Africa, Mashidiso Moeti, said the authorities in North Kivu had successfully stopped several flare-ups of the deadly virus before and was confident they would bring this one under control soon. Scientists say it is unrealistic to think Ebola will ever be eradicated, but it is now easier to prevent a crisis. This is the 14th outbreak in DRC. The first outbreak was back in 1976. Moving on elsewhere in the world, former U.S. President Donald Trump has asked a judge to freeze the Justice Department investigation of files seized from his Mar-a-Lago home. In a lawsuit, his legal team asked that an independent lawyer be appointed to oversee the documents that FBI agents took earlier this month. 11 sets of classified files were taken from Mr. Trump's Florida estate on the 8th of August, according to the FBI. Mr. Trump is being investigated for potentially mishandling documents.
U.S. presidents must transfer all their documents and emails to a government agency called the National Archive, and the FBI is investigating whether Mr. Trump improperly handled records by taking them from the White House to Mar-a-Lago after he left office in January 2021. He denied any wrongdoing and said items were declassified. In the 27-page document filed in a Florida court, Mr. Trump's legal team accuses the Justice Department such as simply wanting the camel's nose under the tent so that they could rummage for either politically helpful documents or support efforts to thwart President Trump from running again. And moving on, almost 1,300 migrants crossed the English Channel in small boats on Monday, setting a new record for crossings in a single day. The Ministry of Defense said 1,295 migrants made the crossing in 27 boats, topping the previous high of 1,185 last November. It is the highest daily total since current records began in 2018. So far this month, 6,168 people have made the crossing in small boats, compared to 3,683 in July. More than 22,560 people have so far journeyed across the English Channel this year. At the equivalent point in 2021, the cumulative total was just under 12,500. Last year, a total of 28,526 people are known to have made the crossing, up from 8,404 in 2020. Babies and young children wrapped in blankets and wearing woolly hats were among those seen being brought ashore at Dover on Monday. The crossings came after 3 days when no crossings were made due to bad weather. Moving on, 10 police officers have been arrested in Colombia on suspicion of involvement in the killing of 3 youth. The 3 were shot dead while in police custody in northern Sucre province on the 25th of July. A police colonel, the highest-ranking officer suspected in the case, is on the run and thought to be abroad. Prosecutors say the police officers had alleged that the youth were members of the Gulf Clan criminal group that had earlier shot dead a policeman. Colombia has a dark history of false positives cases in which civilians were murdered by the military and passed off as rebels to boost its kill rate. An inquiry found last year that Colombia's military killed more than 6,400 people between 2002 and 2008 and falsely labeled them as enemy combatants. And elsewhere, the northern section of the grain silos damage is a major 2020 blast in Beirut, and it has collapsed. 2 other parts fell in late July and early August, some 2 years after the explosion in the Docklands on the 4th of August, which killed over 200 people. Officials said rotting, fermenting grain had ignited in the summer heat, causing a fire in the silos which burned slowly for weeks. No injuries were reported in this most recent collapse. And in Malaysia, the former Prime Minister Najib Razak has been sent to jail to begin serving a 12-year sentence after the top court rejected his appeal. The 69-year-old's charges relate to a corruption scandal involving state-owned wealth fund One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB, and he was convicted in July 2020 but had been out on bail during the appeal. The court also denied Najib's request to delay his sentence. He has continued to deny any wrongdoing. In 2020, a court had found him guilty on 7 counts, centered on a total of 42 million ringgit, which was transformed from SBC International, a former unit of 1MDB, into his private accounts. He was sentenced to 12 years jail and a fine of 210 million ringgit, which is $46.8 million. And about Russia and Ukraine, Ukrainian officials have ridiculed Russia's accusations that its special services were behind the killing of Dalia Dugina, the daughter of an ultra-nationalist, in a car bomb attack. A memorial service for Ms. Dugina, who was aged 29, took place in Moscow today. Miss Dugina, commentator on Russian nationalist TV, died when her car blew up on the outskirts of Moscow. Her influential father, Alexander Dugin, may have been the intended target of the attack. His expansionist ideas of a new Russia or Novorossiya on Ukrainian territory are said to have influenced President Vladimir Putin's annexation of Crimea in 2014. President Putin condemned the vile, cruel and crime and posthumously awarded Miss Dugina the Order of Courage. Her 60-year-old father paid tribute to her as a rising star at the start of her journey. She was brutally murdered in front of him by Russian enemies, he said, and he went on to call for victory over Ukraine. In Kyiv, the Security and Defense Council Secretary said Ukraine had nothing to do with the bombing, and they said they have more important tasks for their boys and girls. Well, that brings us to the end of this hour's news update. I remind you of the Karamoja cry. The people of Karamoja are dying of hunger. The Robert Kayanja Ministries has so far delivered food relief to the people of Karamoja, and it's good news so far. However, the need is still great. That is why we are calling upon you to join us once again as we deliver another batch of food relief to the people of Karamoja. Remember, they are our own. They too are Ugandans, and they are currently in need of help. They are currently in need of revival in their bodies. Therefore, we call upon you to join us by sending a seed that will help us to put together a meal that will be delivered in each household in Karamoja. Each household will be receiving 50 kilograms of food, which includes milk. It's a mixed diet of milk, of sugar, of porridge, of maize flour, of rice flour, of oats, or a booster that will help them revamp their energy and their body from dying to living again. You are welcome to join us. Well, I remind you that tomorrow is Wednesday. We are having services. You can come with your seed and sow it, hand it over to the man of God who will pray a special blessing upon your life, and you receive the blessings according to Isaiah 58, the kind of fast that God calls us to do. I remain Mercy Gashegu Sembatia together with Livingstone Kawesi. We'll meet again with fresh news updates. God bless you. Enjoy your evening.